Hey there, this is Andrea Heng and welcome to another episode of the Money Talks podcast. This episode is brought to you by Prudential Singapore. Now, I want to come across to you and talk to you about the idea of retirement, right? It used to be a very clear picture. Imagine this. You're packing up your stuff on your desk at the office, leaving it for the last time. And then after that, maybe you pick up a new hobby, tend to a garden or play with your grandkids. And you are living off a lifetime of savings that you've built up, right? But that picture has now changed. Things are different. For one, we are living longer lives. And the idea of stopping work completely at the age of 65, not really everyone's cup of tea anymore. It's not in everyone's end goal. But this raises then a crucial question. How do you finance a retirement that could last 30 years and is just as active, if not more so, than your working life previously? So today, we are going to explore how to fund this redefined next chapter of life with Lim Szer Khee. He's a Financial Services Director at Prudential Singapore. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you for having me here.
All right. So my first question to you is not a serious one, but it could be serious. At what age are you intending to retire?
Myself?
Yeah.
I'm already retired.
You're retired?
Nah, just kidding.
Oh, I wish.
Well, I guess for myself, I don't really have a fixed retirement age.
Okay.
And I think that kind of sits with today's topic.
Right.
As in, I happen to fall into the Gen X generation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think things have changed a little, and you don't really think about there's a hard stop.
Right.
And you must stop at that 65, and therefore you call it a day.
Interesting.
And obviously, I am enjoying my work, and so probably that's the reason why I don't really feel like it's work.
Right.
And you're kind of moving towards that stage,
Yeah, I get what you mean because I enjoy what I do as well,
Yes.
and I really don't see the end of it per
Yep,
se.
exactly.
But then what do you sort of see yourself transitioning into when you turn 60, 70 years old?
Okay. It's
Is there a
not
transition in mind?
that there is actually, because I'm not too far from that,
Yeah.
right? So I've been kind of picturing and imagining it all the
Yeah.
time. I guess now that I'm in my 50s, right? So the next natural transition will be the 60s, right? And that I can definitely see. 70s you can see that too, because you see your aged parents, how they live. And I believe that we take a lot of reference point
Yeah,
from what we actually see out there.
for sure.
So I guess one of the biggest takeaway I have from seeing how my parents retire into their rebel age is that there's actually quite a distinct difference between retiring because you have a long lifespan
Right.
versus retiring well because you have a great health span too, right?
Quality retirement.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's something that I'm actually looking forward to.
Okay.
And I think that if you put a hard stop to it, say that's the age you kind of stop working, I would feel as if a part of me has been robbed away,
I know, because you spend
Yeah.
decades of your life
Exactly.
dedicated to work, right?
Exactly.
So what will you be doing? Will you be doing a combination of what you're doing now plus gardening on the side? I mean, what does that picture look like to you?
Well, I don't have green fingers, so...
Yeah.
So, well, I think I happen to be fortunate in the sense that I enjoy what I do.
Okay.
I believe I'm good at what I do.
Yeah.
Okay. So as I kind of progress further down, then probably I will do a little bit less heavy lifting.
Right.
Right. And I probably see myself transiting into kind of like a mentor kind of role.
Right.
Advising new colleagues, associates who join the team.
Yeah.
Sharing a little bit of experiences. And with not so much of the usual hustle bustle that you kind of do when you're actively working. So that becomes quite natural for me.
Yeah. So you're still relevant, but you still have a lot of value in the company and to yourself and to other people as well. And that's a quality retirement in your eyes.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. So, what do you think are some of the biggest shifts that you've seen in other people when they're approaching their retirement years compared to a decade ago?
Well, from what I've observed, probably a decade ago, many people are still thinking about retirement as like a hard stop.
Yeah, correct.
Right. So you hit a certain age, 60, 65, you shoot for a 7-digit number. You hit that.
Yeah.
And then, hey, that's it. It's
Yeah.
done. Okay. It's
Yeah.
so-called game over and game restart
Yeah.
for retiree, if I put it that way.
Yeah.
But I think that has shifted because now people are worried that if I'm going to live longer, if I put a hard stop to that 1 mil, 2 mil, even 3, is it going to last me forever?
Yeah.
And we heard so much about the evil I word called inflation, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But to cut out all the noise, I feel the biggest shift is that we all have a different expectation towards our own retirement now. Fast forward to today's context.
Yeah.
And I think COVID kind of accelerated that.
You think so?
Yes, because I think during the time when everybody is at home, it's kind of like a forced retirement, yeah?
Yeah, because you're not going to the
Exactly.
office.
Then you kind of see your other half, you see your children, see family all the time.
You pick up new hobbies.
Exactly.
Everyone was a sourdough baker or a gardener at some point.
Yes. So people get used to this idea that I can, retire. I can have 101 things I would like to do. And then when I have to go back office, I suddenly kind of miss yen for those things.
Right.
So then they kind of imagine that maybe I can bring this into retirement, and then this can still perhaps make me a little bit side income as a side hustle.
Right.
But yet at the same time, I love what I'm doing, and that is how I kind of see the change.
Okay.
That people just move towards that.
It's interesting you brought up, that elusive 7-digit figure that people think, oh, when I have a hard stop, that's how much I must have in my bank account. This was the idea of retirement back then.
Yes.
Today, it's quite different. But still, we still need to think about financial security, right? But then there's also this thing called financial freedom. I mean, we throw these words around a lot, financial security, financial freedom. But is there really a difference between the two?
In my personal opinion, I wouldn't really want to do a headline split, right? But if we just take out the word financial, then we are looking at either security and freedom.
Right.
Yep. So I think from a very, very basic level of needs, we all need some kind of security to know that everything's going to be okay, get a roof over our head, etc., etc.
Food on the table,
Yes, exactly.
medical expenses covered.
So in Singapore, I think we kind of most of us have at least fulfilled this part of it.
Okay. Yeah.
So in terms of security, I feel it's there.
Okay.
Right. But in terms of the other part, which is called freedom, which is basically an option.
Okay.
Right. So for example, if I'm a retiree and I only have, let's say, X number of dollars, right, I think the last thing I would want to do as a retiree is that I gotta pause and think, today, can I afford to go and pick up that Starbucks? Or should I stay at home and do my 3-in-1?
Yeah.
Then that to be kind of defeats the whole purpose of
So
retiring,
basically,
right?
we can think about it as freedom of movement in the physical form. It's the same thing. Do you have the freedom to spend?
Yes.
To move. You have the freedom to move your money in any way that you like. And that's what financial freedom is.
Yes. So I call it that I think life is great when we have options, we have choices.
Yeah.
Right. And it kind of is not that great when you only have one way to go.
Yeah, exactly. For listeners in their 40s and 50s, which would be, around our age group, right? And as well as yours, considering this second act, what's the most crucial mindset shift that they must consider when they decide, or if they decide to make that transition from wealth accumulation to a fulfilling next chapter?
I feel many of us don't really sit down and think through, right, what is actually our second act. So my advice is that you need to consider your second act as something not 360, 180 kind of degrees, kind of like a pivot.
Fair, okay.
Yep. You probably need to consider something which you're already naturally comfortable with, like to do, good at, and then you just kind of pivot it.
Which brings me to my next question, right? How do I know when I'm ready to make that step, to pivot? How do I know that I have enough? Because sometimes in our heads, it's nothing's ever enough. What we have may not be enough, because that caution, that, for the lack of a better term, but paranoia that it's not going to be enough. And with the rising cost of living and healthcare, that mindset is going to continue, being there, that worry, right?
Okay. Now, that is fair observation, right? So that comes back to one of my earlier point, whereby I say that we used to think of retirement as a hard stop, a 7-digit number.
Right.
And we kind of forgotten that actually that doesn't solve the problem, because even with that 7-digit, you don't really know whether that's enough or not, based on your lifestyle. So my advice is always to start having a lot of passive income. And if I said a lot, I'm not referring to in terms of quantity, I'm referring to the quality of a passive income, which will probably stand for some security or some of it, and probably some passive income from financial instruments that is inflation hedged as well.
Yep.
And if you actually have the time, right, to dig in a little bit deeper, I would actually suggest for people to think through about their expenses. How much do they really, really need? And I like to classify it into two parts. One is what I call the non-negotiables.
Yes.
And one is what I call the active lifestyle which you wanted. Yeah.
Mm.
So
The needs and the wants.
yes, exactly. So once you have done that and you realize that your passive income can actually satisfy all your non-negotiables, that naturally give you that clarity, hence the confidence,
Right.
and that courage to step out.
Yeah. And all you need to do is find the time to sit down
Yes.
and really think about it. And it's worth it, right? It's worth the time.
Definitely, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going to do that for the next 30
Exactly.
years. You've got to give some real serious
plan
thoughts.
everything. Yeah. Here's the thing also, right? Because we are living longer lives. And this is a topic of conversation in not just in Singapore, but around the world. We are getting older and we're living longer, retiring earlier, and wanting to do more while in retirement as well. So as you said that, some people feel that the traditional nest egg may not be enough. So in that respect, what's the single biggest mistake you see people make when they are planning for a retirement that is meant to span at least 30 years or longer even?
Okay. I've kind of a contrarian approach to this.
Oh, really?
Right?
Okay, pray tell.
I find that, of course, I'll just put in some assumptions up front
Sure.
first. But if you had kind of planned for it and you kind of did what I suggested, you know what's your negotiable, non-negotiable, you got certain amount of income, etc. Then one of the mistakes I find that most people make is that they actually tend to be too conservative when they first started retiring.
Oh.
And they spend too little.
Right.
And they start thinking, should I try this? Should I not try this? What if later I need this?
Right.
And then we come back to the part about lifespan versus quality of life.
What
which
are
is
they
basically
spending
health
too little on?
So, for example, if you just started retiring and think, oh, maybe, say, for example, let's say for myself, right? So maybe I've never taken a first-class flight out of Singapore before I ask you.
Sure.
I just want to have that experience, before I RIP or whatever it is.
So there's a bit of a YOLO spirit to what you're saying?
Yes,
okay.
yes. So, but maybe it cost me a 5-digit and I was like scratching my head, can I afford it? Can I not afford it?
Yeah.
But I say, hey, if I know that even by doing this today, it's not going to affect all my non-negotiables for the next 30 years of my life because we're talking about kind of income that is passive, that is perpetual, then why not? Give me the courage. And I wouldn't feel too guilty about it. You say, alamak, should I have done that? Because I've done that now at 85.
Because I've covered my bases.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can lead a bit of a YOLO life in your 70s as long as you've covered your bases.
Yes, I would say that. Isn't that what we all want?
Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, so what would be your YOLO moment? Are you going to fly first class somewhere?
Yes, that's one of my I wouldn't say a bucket list, but one of my to-do list. But I probably intend to do it before retirement.
Wow. Okay, well, you are still earning income, so you kind of can do that. I think that's a better license to do that. Okay, so then how do the rest of us factor in the rising cost of living as well, right? There's inflation, rising cost of healthcare, and general living as well when we are planning for this long and active retirement.
Yep. Well, I think number one in Singapore, we actually have what they call a baseline.
Yes.
So you actually have your CPF Life. That is actually, I think, is probably voted one of the better or one of the best schemes in the world. So that kind of take out a certain baseline.
Right.
Yep. So then the other part, if you want to kind of YOLO your life a little bit, have a bit more liberty with it, then I guess you probably got to start now, even before you retire. And by now, I'm referring to that you should start seriously thinking about that. Seriously implementing some solutions out there that's going to give you that perpetual income and start to have a taste of what is like a passive income, Because what I noticed is that a lot of people just, okay, passive income is nice, okay?
Yes.
But then they buy so little, only $30. But my take is that even if you start with just a $30 passive income on a monthly basis, that can take care of your Netflix.
Yeah.
And it's become a necessity for retirees nowadays, correct?
Yeah, you can't deny that. Beyond the usual pillars of retirement planning, right? So you have CPF Life, you have investments, of course, as you mentioned. What are some of the less obvious options out there that we can undertake as part of a holistic financial plan so that we can stay, financially free and flexible in our later years?
I guess the very generic one that we hear is probably called investments. Yep. But it's a generic word and it scares a lot of people.
It does. It's very intimidating.
So I think the market kind of recognizes that. So nowadays there's a lot of what they call index-linked kind of product. Yeah. And that kind of gives you a regular income. And because it's indexed, so it's kind of tied to the market. And that naturally helps to hedge against inflation to an extent.
Right.
And the best part is that you probably start receiving that little income, right, much earlier, right at the onset.
That's right, yeah.
And that allows you to experience what it feels like to have a little bit of passive income. And to me, see, we plan for our careers.
Yeah.
We plan for so many things. But I just kind of noticed that we don't really sit down and start experimenting with bits and pieces, of our retirement income. And I think having the passive income just give us that confidence.
Yeah.
To kind of move from there.
I think you're right. We plan, we tend to plan upwards, right? When we progress in our career, our salaries go up, and our expenditure, our lifestyle habits, which involves money, of course, moves in tandem. Having to learn how to, what it feels like to live on a retirement income, scaling back down, I think that's a very important and missed step.
Yep.
Okay, so I want to zoom out here for a moment, because there's a growing debate, especially in the West, about a growing wealth gap between generations, right? They keep saying this about how baby boomers hold more than half of the US's wealth. Millennials and Gen Zs hold around 10%. And I think every millennial and Gen Z out there kind of feels the same way. So do you believe that this is true, that there are ripple effects of, having the baby boomers, maybe some Gen Xers, holding more wealth than the rest of us do, the younger ones do, and therefore it becomes harder to plan for retirement?
Well, I think the interesting thing that if today you are very young is that you're going to inherit all of them. Correct?
Well, if you're nice to your parents.
Yeah, you're nice to your parents, right? So eventually it's got to get passed down to you. I mean, not to partake in this debate,
Sure.
but if I look at it objectively, right? If I take a POV or the point of view of a millennials, the younger generation, I mean, my heart goes to you because you kind of had it tougher.
Yeah.
If I want to take it from that tough perspective, because there's more things you need to do now.
Yeah.
There's more money you need to spend now.
Yeah.
Correct? But yet your maybe your income is not going to keep pace with all that 301 things you want to do, right?
Yeah.
So that exists a certain kind of, lack of a better word, imbalance. They kind of feel that, but then that uncle...
I mean, it's an easy example is how my mother-in-law bought a Bedok South flat near the sea for a 5-digit figure. It's a 4-5-room flat. There's no way you can get an HDB flat for that price anymore. Doesn't matter where it is, right? So in just 2 generations, so much has changed. So how do we, the millennials and the Gen Zers, then plan for retirement without having to look at what our parents are doing?
I think if today I got to relive my life and I'm a Gen Z, maybe much younger, just kind of starting out.
Sure.
True, right? Property prices have gone up, things have gone up, and we actually, our income maybe has not been really keeping pace as much as it should be. And that's probably one of the reasons why people all start having a side hustle, correct? But yet at the same time, we got to acknowledge that actually there are more opportunities abound now for the younger generations. And you can actually choose to make money in what I call the side hustle or the side gig much easier, right? You do not really need to have that Harvard, Stanford degree anymore, but you can just have the courage and then maybe something happens along the way. So if today I'm young, I think I'll revisit back very fundamental things. Okay, what does the world need today? How can I kind of accelerate my active income? Because that's actually one of my biggest superpower I have now because I'm young.
Yeah.
There are opportunities, right? Tons of it, frankly.
Yeah.
Now, what do I need to do to actually maximize that? And then before you know it, I'm keeping pace with whatever prices, the inflation. And I personally feel that that's truly what life is all about, right?
Yeah.
You're looking at progress, you're looking at mobility and everything else.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether that kind of answers the question. So
it kind of does because I think, to your point, the world of opportunities, they're the same rules of life about taking opportunity, about seizing those opportunities, about contributing to the world. And I mean, the same rules when it comes to investing even remain the same. The same discipline applies. Yeah, exactly. So what about those closer to retirement age? How can they ensure that the generations after them won't be financially burdened? What kind of non-negotiables should those people have? The parents who are telling their kids, I don't want to burden you?
Well, I guess the one of the greatest gifts I think parents can give when they are nearing retirement is not to be a burden to them financially first. Right, and that of course involves that as you get older, your health is naturally going to decline.
Yeah.
That you have the right amount of health insurance that will take care of any major shocks. You probably have enough retirement income, or if not, that generation, or rather the earlier generation, may have enough assets to kind of monetize it. Now, as for your first point, whereby that I will still maybe have to carry the burden for my children to give them that down payment for that, I talk to many people. Right, some says that I'm not going to leave anything behind.
Yeah.
Okay, but I don't know whether that's said in a bravado statement or they really mean what they say.
Yeah.
I have some who is actually thinking very hard for their children, and then they are the one that I find a little bit more stressed.
Right.
And they are concerned that their children maybe cannot get a high-paying job, AI is going to take away their job, etc., etc. So that begins that thing is that I think it's important for you as a upcoming retiree to make a distinction between retirement planning and the second part is what I call legacy planning.
Yes.
Which is totally entirely different way of preparing for it.
Do you find a lot of people conflate the two?
Yes, all the time, yeah. Because it's like, I'm going to die, then I'm going to leave behind something. So should I spend or don't spend? And that's exactly what I meant by, you see, when you don't really plan, you don't know that this money is for you to take out a non-negotiable, this is for you to have fun, YOLO a bit, then this one is to pass to your children.
Yeah, there are three separate streams.
Exactly. So once you have achieved the clarity by talking to professionals around it, then I guess it becomes clear.
Yeah.
You actually can fulfill everything all at one go. And we are not talking about people who has got tons of wealth, right? We're just talking about being clear in this segregation.
Yeah, I think that's exceptionally on the mark there, because I think a lot of people really do think of retirement as this one big umbrella, and there's no sort of distinction or division between what that actually comprises. They don't think of it in singular components, and that's a really good reminder as well. So on the Money Talks podcast, we like to paint scenarios for our guests.
Okay.
Because I think it really helps the listeners gain a better perspective, because they may be of different ages, different earning power, etc. Right? So here's one for you. Someone who is 5 to 10 years away from their desired retirement age.
Okay.
Let's say whether it's a hard stop or not, there's a sort of gauge, right, as to when they want to start slowing down. What are the top 3 planning priorities?
I think the first step is that you need to sit down and think about your activities as a retiree. What is something that you can rinse and repeat? May not be forever 30 years, but at least for the first 3 years when you first retire, right? So once you have that clarity, then I will break it down to the second step, whereby you kind of decompose these activities, which obviously cost some money, right, into negotiable, non-negotiable. And this is the part whereby I feel you need to be crystal clear about your non-negotiable, because like what we shared earlier on, right? Netflix has become a necessity.
Yeah.
And then I do hear of people who say that, when I retire, actually, I don't need this, I don't need this. But I think that's not true, because if you got accustomed to a certain way of living, you can probably downplay certain things, but you probably cannot eradicate them 100%.
Yeah.
And if you are unclear again, then that's when you always feel that, can I really retire? So that's probably the second thing I will kind of advise. Now, then obviously the third thing is that I will circle back to the point is that we need to find income sources, much more so than just having a X amount of dollars. Because especially in Singapore, we all love properties. Yeah. So it's quite hard to monetize property to have that steady stream of income.
Yes.
I mean, apart from that, you own multiple, you can rent it out, you can rent out a room, etc., etc. But that is still a huge asset that we all have. But it's really difficult to kind of monetize it into a regular cash flow.
That's right, yeah.
So I guess the best alternative is start experimenting with it. Like what Mick mentioned, doesn't mean to say that you have to have like maybe I need $3,000.
Yeah.
But I need to create cash flow of $3,000. It's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
But let's start with something small.
Yeah.
And the word is gradually transit.
Yes. And I think be open to the fact that this plan needs to be flexible. Is planning for this 5 to 10 years before retirement age too late?
Definitely not.
Okay.
It's better late than never, right?
Better to have a kind of plan
Exactly,
than to
exactly,
not have no
exactly.
plan at all, right?
Because we're gonna live a long life like we established earlier
Yeah.
on. Yeah. So in fact, even today you're already retired, I think you can take a look at what you have and
Yeah.
then kind of decide what to do next.
Okay, when it comes to decumulation
Okay.
or drawing
Spending your money.
Yeah, drawing down on retirement savings, what are some of the common mistakes people tend to make?
Okay, you know where I stand when I give the contrarian, right? So
Yeah.
when I say the first mistake is that you tend to spend a little bit too little
Yeah.
initially because you tend to be cautious. Now, so if I round that a little bit, then I think the second mistake is that why you spend too little is because you forgot that there are certain things that you get accustomed to and you can't live without them.
Yeah.
I mean, just give you some examples. I have clients who has moved into retirement, right? So they use with MNCs, generous benefits, can go to chiropractor, you can do your medical checkup.
Yes.
And then when they retire, say, Zerk, I probably not going to do my chiropractor anymore, but I say, but I actually like it.
Yeah.
And then initially they thought they may not want it,
Right.
but then they later that they should just go for it because it keeps them healthy, it keeps them okay, mobile,
Yeah.
and they just like the idea of it.
Yeah.
So that mistake is probably you kind of underestimate your own expectations, right?
Yeah.
And I feel that it's terrible if you had to reduce a lot of things which you're accustomed to, and some of it actually may have become necessary, not because of anything else, but say for example, you take care of your health, and I think that's important for retiree. And just to give you an example, even for myself, right, I used to go for group classes, Pilates,
Yeah.
gyms, and all these.
Yeah.
Then as we get older, we kind of realize that, hey, I can't afford to get injured because every injury takes me out for 1 month already.
Yes,
Correct? And then that is when you say, let me just pay the money, get a personal trainer to watch over all my little movement
Yeah, yeah.
because it's still cheaper in the long run.
It's an investment.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
People don't think of it that way. People think it's a lifestyle choice, but there are benefits to it that will help you out in your later years.
Yep,
Yeah.
spot on that.
Yeah. All right. Final words of advice. What's an easy first step that you tell someone who wants to start planning their own retirement today?
Easy first step. The word I would like the audience maybe take away is that we are talking about gradual, step by step
Transitional.
transition, right? And the word is now.
Yeah.
Yep. So even that little baby step, maybe just 1 meter.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's still a step
Yeah,
towards
it's still a
it.
step, and you actually will feel quite good about yourself that
Yeah.
you're actually planning for your own future.
You're absolutely right. And this conversation is what's making me kick myself and getting myself started on that retirement plan. I have started.
Good for you.
Yeah, I think thinking about it and being very aware of it is a good first step. It may not be a tangible first step, but it is a first step. So thank you for all the nitty-gritty reminders that you gave
You're
us here
welcome.
today.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Hey, Money Talks community, if you've got any comments or questions, you can always leave us a message. Simply write to us at cnapodcasts@mediacorp.com.sg. Money Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and Me Listen. And if you're listening to us from any of these platforms, please leave us a rating. Big thanks to the team as always, Tiffany Ang, Nat Fetalvero, Junaini Johari, Ho Pei Ning, Joanne Chan, and Charlene Tan. Video and sound by Hanida Amin and Justin Garnell. I'm Andrea Heng, signing off for the Money Talks podcast. This episode has been brought to you by Prudential Singapore.